Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at the epic game Veiled Fate. It's a 2 to 8 player game published by IV Games. In this game, you're going to try to get your demigod to have the most renown by the end of the third age. Let's go ahead to the table here. I'll give you a general overview of how the game plays, and we'll come back and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Veiled Fate, and we're going to go over just really briefly the setup of Veiled Fate. First, you're going to do is you're going to put all the demigod miniatures out there. You're going to put the Alter City card out and put the city card deck off to the side because you're going to be using that in the future. Then you're going to check your player count. So we're just going to say we're going to play a 5-player game, and then we're going to have 5 quests for that. But you would look at the rule book and you would see the quest count for each of the player levels. So 5 players is 5 quests. Now, if you're playing with larger than 5 players, you'll actually be in teams, but since we're not in teams, you're going to take one of each demigod color. So like here, one of every demigod color is a duplicate, but we're going to have them as singles. I'm going to shuffle that up, and everyone's going to secretly get a demigod. So this would be my secret demigod. I would place it underneath there. And the objective of the game is to have your demigod have the most renown at the end of the third age, or if the game ends early. And the game will end early if anyone hits the 12 renown. Alright, so you will then take one of these handy dandy player aids that show your god powers, plus also show all the different demigods and their affiliations. So as you know, a cheat sheet just in case you can't read what the symbol is, or see what the symbol is from a little bit of distance. You'll then take each of these age cards, which is age 1, age 2, and age 3. You'll shuffle each of these independently and then take the top age 1, take the top age 2, and take the top age 3. Don't flip them, these are secret. Okay, so that is the majority of the setup. The only thing left is put out the quests. You're going to figure out who you want to have as first player. After you figure that out, and you can do it with fate, so you can flip fate cards over to determine who's going to be first player. But for right now, we're just going to place out these quests. So we're going to do it in turn order. So first player picks one, then the second player, let's say the second player wants to put it here. The third player says, oh, I'm going to put it here. Fourth player is going to go here, and fifth player is going to go here. All right, now that all the quests are out, the game is set up. We're going to go put this quest deck off to the side, the city deck off to the side. Age 1, 2, and 3 are here. We're going to go ahead and start the age by flipping over the age card, and the first player will read it out loud to the rest of the players. At the end of this age, global vote starting with to the left of the first player. All right. So if we're going to go with feather, switch demis at 1 renown, and 3 renown. If we go with the scorpion, which is going to be the dark vote, we get switch demis at 2 renown and 4 renown. So they basically switch places. Tie demis at 0 renown, gain 3 renown. So that's a pretty good starting one. I don't know if anyone's going to be in that area, but that is going to be the global vote. Then everyone's going to get 5 fate cards, and these are it. This is the fate cards you get for the whole round. And the round will end once either all the quest cards have been completed and or someone has used up, everyone has rested, so everyone's used up all their fate cards. So what can you do on a turn? Well, on your turn, you can basically move move any of the demigods. So I can move them to a space. All right, so I have 2 different actions. I can either move a demigod or use a god power. I can use them in a combination for my 2 actions. So I could move twice, use god powers twice, move once, use a god power once. So let's just go over God powers and then I'll go over movement. So God powers, if you use them, you're going to have to discard fate cards to be able to perform that action. So this one here is going to cost 3 fate cards, and its portal, move a demi to any location or open spot quest. Ignore all movement rules or quest requirements. We'll go over quest requirements in a little bit. So basically, with these God powers, you just cheat. Transfiguration, switch the location of 2 demis on the same incompleted quest or ignoring all quest requirements. Smite, you basically can take any demigod you want and move them to the abyss. Omniscience, shuffle a card from the fate deck into a quest vote pile without looking at it, then examine the vote pile so you can see how the vote's going to go for that area. Influence, after placing a fate card on a quest, you may add an additional fate card. So this one's going to cost you 1 fate, 2 fate, 2 fate, 3 fate, 3 fate. So you're going to be spending fate if you want to use this. So you can't do them all that often because you still want to use your fate card, but they are very, very powerful. Other than that, you have movement. So in movement, you can move 1 space adjacent. So I can move him here if I wanted to. If I wanted to move him again, I can't move anyone to the pools or abyss, but I can move across the bridge to this region here, or I can move here, or I can move on to a quest. Now, when you're looking at a quest, sometimes they have prerequisites, sometimes they don't. This one here, the only prerequisite on it at all is going to be that in this middle spot, this only a demigod that matches this faction can be on this spot. When a thing fills, you're going to look at the vote. But until it fills, when, let's say I put a person here, I would take a card from my hand and I would vote on it. I don't know if I have it. Oh, I only have Scorpion. So this is going to be a vote saying I want this side. The feather is going to be a vote to say I want this side. There is a 2 feather and a 2 scorpion, and there's also a card with the number 2 on it. And what that card means is when that card gets flipped, I will add 2 cards randomly from the top of the fate deck to the vote. So everyone will put their stuff down here, and when it's full, a vote will occur. So when this demigod goes here, that person will put their vote in. We're going to shuffle this up and we'll flip them over. And look, it's going to be 3 feathers. So the feather side would work, would trigger. So any demigod on here, now this is an illegal movement, but I'm just showing you, would get the benefit that is on the left here. So this one here is gain a renown. So you're going to move up this renown track. So if black was on there, they would gain 1 renown. For right here, we had yellow on there. They would actually have gained 2 renown. Now, if someone gains a renown and someone's already there, you just jump, leapfrog to the top of that little section on there. That's how renown works. This side, if we would have had scorpions, it would have been lose a renown. This is gain a renown, and this is flip the fate die. If you flip the fate die, what's going to happen with that is you'll flip this coin, and whatever side that it lands on is what's going to happen. So in this case, if I flipped it and it landed on the feather, would gain a renown. If it landed on the scorpion, you would lose a renown. So you're playing with fate there. A couple other things to look out for in this is this symbol here is a specific god or demigod can only be on here, and this shows the color too. This, with the arrows, anytime you see arrows, this has to be played in a specific order. So a demigod has to go here, 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 and then here. Additional symbol that I missed was, or that I didn't explain yet, was this eye with a lightning bolt. If you have that, the character is going to be, demigod's going to be smited. Anyone that's smited goes into the abyss. To get out of the abyss, you have to spend 1 movement and then another movement. Now, if you spend another movement to get out, you're going to activate the city. You'll put the city token on the first empty spot, and you'll keep on. Next person that goes will move it. All right, so this space here, you'll gain a fate card. This you'll have to flip the fate coin, another fate card. This one you gain a renown. Once it makes it all the way to the end of the track, the city card is discarded. A new city card is not placed out until the beginning of a new age, so age 2. So players will continue going along, moving any demigod they want, placing fate cards down on locations when they start quests, using their god powers, discarding fate cards. If they run out of fate cards, they have to rest for the age, so they're out. Once everyone's finished all the quests or everyone's rested, the age will end. Once the age ends, you'll do the global age card, and everyone will vote for it. The first player is in charge of that. The first person to rest will become the first player, so if you're the first one to rest, you will be the first player. If no one rests, then the first player remains with the person that is currently the first player. At the end of the round, like I said, you'll go read off the age card. Then you'll start a new round. What you'll do is you'll discard all of these quest cards. You'll put out new quest cards, and they'll be placed from the first player in then clockwise order. You'll flip the age 2 global end of age card, and the first player will read it out loud, and you'll place a new city card out. You'll do this 2 more times, so a total of 3 rounds, and at the end of the 3rd round, whoever has the most renown will win. If the player does make it to 12 before the end of the 3rd age, the game will immediately end. So that's the 2 ways of winning it. And that's it. That is basically a very quick overview of how to play Veiled Fate. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So Ivy Games is really doing a great job. They took concepts and turned them into games and did their own spins on them that I really like. Moonrakers is an example of a great deduction game with a deck building component to it that they did an amazing job. There's a ton of negotiation games out there, but only a couple of them are really good, and Moonrakers is in them. In Veiled Fate, they took social deduction and put their own little spin on it and made Veiled Fate. I really, really like what they did. This is the only social deduction game I like. I don't like social deduction games. I don't know why, but I don't like social deduction games. I do like this game. This game here, I really like how I can move all the other demigods around. How they worked all the quests out where you can place them or hide placement of them, but still sort of gain your renown, but make it look like maybe you're trying to push another one forward or backwards or whatnot. So there's a lot you could do in there. And even if you get found out, or they think that you found out, if you don't break that and be like, oh, you got me, you can sort of say, well, that's whatever you think, and it's sort of like maybe make it look like you're pushing another one forward for the rest of the game. People will change their mind pretty quickly. So there is a lot of really cool things you can do in this game. It doesn't take very long to play, which is another bonus to a social deduction game, but it keeps you highly interacted too. It's really cool where all the different things you can do. I like the god powers. I may not fire them off as often as other people do, but I find that I try to keep those in reserve because losing those fate cards is bad. I like keeping them for the quests and stuff, just so I can have a little bit more control over that area. And you only get 5 quests per age, or 5 fate cards per age. The quest number changes based on player count, but so those fate cards are pretty precious in the game. I also found that it's pretty cool to bump people up from the pools, because if you do that, then you can get extra fate cards. So even if it's not yours, you may want to be the one that pulls them in, because you can get the city bonus too, which is really cool, or can be. Some of them are lose renown, but hey, maybe you want to push it up and have that demigod lose renown. Really, really cool game. Overall, really good production quality. The components are amazing in this game. The components were amazing in Moonrakers. They do a really good job of taking time to make everything work. And again, this is the second game I've ever had where I think the insert is perfect and works great for the game. I've had a couple other games that come close to it. So there's some Stonemaier games that had inserts that came with it that did really well, but these seem to be like near perfect, great inserts for the game. All the cards fit in there sleeved. They did a lot of thought into making sure everything's lined up perfectly. The Moonrakers one was beyond amazing, where they had everything stacked in, where you don't even need like bags for it, because you could turn the thing upside down and all around, and the components are not getting jumbled up. Little thing, but when you take that much care into a game, and that if stuff that really doesn't actually matter for the gameplay, but you took that much care into the production quality of your game, it actually shows in the game they designed also, because they put a lot of care into that. So it's just overall great. So if you're looking for a social deduction game to play with your friends, I would highly, highly recommend checking out Veiled Fate. Thank you for watching.